Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation. Oh, well, awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for taking time to do this interview.
Pleasure.
And of course, we're here to talk about the brand new album from Space Elevator 2, which is coming out in just a couple weeks. How does it feel to finally have this new album coming out in just a couple weeks?
It's very exciting. It's always a bit daunting because it's a second album, that difficult second album thing. But yeah, we can't wait. We can't wait for people to hear it.
It's great. It's really good to get to the position actually where you've got a second album. You know making one album is we're signed now, but we were unsigned at the time. And making one album is a challenge in this day and age to get an album recorded to that recording quality. Despite what people say about home studios and stuff, it's not easy. You've got to use really good engineering, good studios, and all that, and you get one done, and then get to the point where you can do a second one and actually be in a better position is brilliant. Having a label behind you is a world of difference.
Oh yeah, I can absolutely imagine so, and it's great to see such a label being able to pick you guys up, see the quality of what the band is, and being able to help bring to everything that it should be. And that's definitely what I hear when I listen to the album. I mean, I definitely hear the progression of the band and the songwriting and the production and everything that's going into it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's it's a more I think it's a more direct album than the first one, but what was interesting for this one is when we recorded it, we were already a band who'd already been out and gigged and toured and been together for a couple of years and everything. When we made the first album, the Duchess and I had written a load of songs, and we started it off as a kind of like a recording project of songs that we'd written, and then it kind of morphed into a band in the process. So it was much better this time round because we played some of the songs live before. We had a much greater sense of who we were when we were writing and recording the album. Was before it was more of a kind of just an eclectic bunch of songs that came out really good. Really, really proud of that record. But I think there is definitely a progression, and then there's also more of an identifiable sound following on from the first album with the second album.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've heard between both albums as well. I mean, there definitely does feel to be like a more of that direct approach this time around, but I also think that just comes from being a band longer now. I mean, the fact that you were able to be in a band together, know the nuances of what the band is all about, and then being able to progress from there.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the stuff on the new album is still quite involved, but it is more direct, and I think it's a couple of people have said to us that it sounds more confident, which struck me as an odd thing to say at first, but thinking about it, that kind of makes sense. I think we just sound more, I don't know if we sound more confident exactly, genuinely, but it just sounds more like we know who we are, and we're,
used to playing together.
Yeah, used to playing together,
Yeah, and it definitely helps, I mean, with both the experience of the debut album and, of course, playing live shows in that as well. I mean, as long as you got, like, that lineup and everyone's wanting to play the same music and wanting to go in the same direction, the band is just going to keep getting better and better. And, again, that's what I'm hearing with this new album. I mean, it just sounds like everyone's just keep getting better and better as a...
Brilliant, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he got better. He wasn't even on the first one, and he was even better on this one. He's in his rock and roll shades today. I just thought I'd let you see that.
Oh, fantastic. Sorry. Oh, quite all right.
I'm just here for the interludes.
Yeah. It's so stereotypical the bass player doesn't say anything. How typical is that?
Just at the end of each scene, you go.
Yeah. Anyway.
So with that, I mean, obviously with having, like you said, more confidence when it came into the new album and knowing more of what you wanted to accomplish with the new album, how did you go about deciding what songs were going to make it onto the new album?
Well, some of them we were already playing live, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then we just wrote more songs than we needed, I suppose, and when we got into the studio, it was a case of sort of jamming them together and seeing what was sounding best.
Yeah, I mean, when we'd written, the way we generally write is we kind of write at home in a demoing sort of format, and then before we go into the studio, we actually rehearse like a live band for a few days, and then sort of see what it sounds like. I mean, this is obviously songs that we hadn't played live, and then see what they sound like, and from that you get a sense of this works, this is really happening, or this is not so good, whatever. And on that basis, you then pick the ones that you're going to go forward with. But I mean, our records are fairly long in the sense that they're, especially with the vinyl. I mean, we originally made we had a run of vinyl before we got signed by SPV. I don't know if you're aware that we already had a release date set, and we'd already manufactured stock, and we were ready to go when SPV came to the table. And on our first run of vinyl, we actually had to lose a track, basically, because you couldn't fit it all on vinyl. And then SPV said, "Oh no, we'll do it on a double album." So the track got back on the album again. So you know, we like to write quite a lot of material and get as much stuff out there on each release as we can.
Yeah, and you know, that's the great thing about like being able to release in different formats is when you do have those collections of songs, you can, especially when it comes to digital, you can easily throw that on as a bonus track or something like that. So, I mean, with vinyl, you got to be a little more selective, but it's great to be able to have different formats.
Yeah, it is good, and it's just so weird nowadays that it's come back to being like the vinyl thing, which it was, you know, when I was a kid, and then that completely nuts. I mean, I threw all my vinyl records in a skip. I binned them when I was moving house about 12 years ago, and they just seemed like something that would just never come back in a million years. And I had some really like rare Australian AC/DC imports and all kinds of stuff, and I'm thinking, oh God, why have I chucked that away? And then now I've gone back and bought all the same stuff all over again for the third time now, because you bought it once and you bought it on CD, now you buy it on vinyl again. But it just feels more real as a band when you go, oh look, it's actually a record, we've made it. It's not just, you know, a download or a stream or something.
Yeah, and you can actually use that phrase, making a record again, because of the influx of vinyl that's starting to come back, rather than just and, you know, there's so many great things that does come with vinyl as well. I mean, there's that great warm sound that just comes from playing on vinyl. The artwork is actually legible, and you're actually able to see all the nuances that go into it. I mean, there's a lot of positives to it.
There are a lot of positives to it, and it's really nice that you can actually get involved with the artwork and do something interesting. I mean, you could on a CD kind of anyway, but I mean, I'd have to talk to a musician from the streaming generation to go, you literally just record it and that's it. You don't have to think about any kind of presentation of the thing you're going to sell. So it's great. It's really, really good to have it on the physical format and see. And on Young, we've got a collagey thing of lots of pictures from the, you know, gigs and hanging about and whatever. And it always looks much better on the vinyl than on, you know, even on the CD. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, very much so. And getting back into that album, earlier today, I finally got to see the new music video for We Can Fly, which I believe was actually released today, correct?
Yeah, singles out today.
Yeah, I got to check
today,
it out. Yeah, I got to check it out a couple times today, and as someone with a fear of heights, it was amazing to be able to see what you guys were able to do in that video. You know, being able to play all the way up there, it was so cool. I mean, you know, it's just like a visually, you know, like from that opening, which is just a hilarious look at like sci-fi, all the way to you guys playing up on that giant satellite. It's so cool to see that.
Thank you. Yeah. Really cool to do. And the bit when I'm up on the top of the Focus Tower, we talked about it before we went out to Canada, and it was, oh yeah, you're going to go right up to the top, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then the closer it got, the more I was absolutely pooping myself. And then it was like, well, I can't get out of it now. I've said I'm going to do it. So.
We've gone all this way. We've spent all this money. Come on.
Yeah.
You know.
It was actually scarier coming back down the ladder than it was going up. For some reason, I guess because I was having to look down as I was climbing down. But
there's if you're a bit funny with heights, you should go onto YouTube. And if you go onto YouTube and you search for Duchess Dish Climb, there's a YouTube video of her actually climbing up, shot from a drone, and you actually get a much better sense of the height of it. The video is like 40 seconds long. It's really short. But that's worth a look. It looks absolutely fantastic because you're looking from the point of view of the drone, so you can see her climbing up, then you can see where the dish is, then you can see all the way down to the like cars on the ground kind of thing, and you get a real sense of the height. It's brilliant. I love sending it to people who are scared of height. Super.
So I'll send you a copy.
You'll love it.
I'm actually going to be checking that out after this is done. I mean, that just sounds like a great video to be able to check out, and you know, just being able to see more of what you were able to get accomplished.
So I think you should watch it.
Yeah.
So what was it like being able to shoot a video like that? I mean, being able to really embrace the satellite culture.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
It was incredible, and we've really got to mention Adam Van Ryn, who is our sort of co-producer and also engineers both of our albums, and shoots all our videos as well. And he does that video was shot by him on his own with one camera, other than the drone stuff. So he had the vision for the story kind of thing, and so he made an incredible job of that. I mean, when you consider he did that, and then all the editing he's had to do on his own, and it's quite funny. I mean, we get a bit like, haven't we done enough of this now? And in a particular shot, and you're like, no, I just need to get another few angles for this, another few angles for that. But it was fantastic to go to. I mean, I think I'm right in saying none of the four of us in the band or Adam had even been to Canada before.
No.
And it was great to go to Canada. The experience of just visiting the dish, not only because it's this incredible satellite dish, but it's properly in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's 100 miles for them to get petrol for a car, so it's properly. We flew to Toronto, and then it was a 6-hour drive from Toronto to where the dish is. So it was just an incredible experience to be somewhere where you have genuine silence. You don't see any planes. If you see a bird, it's an eagle. It was really incredible. So
beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it? And the guys at Thoth that we were working with were phenomenal. So just the experience of being there, irrespective of making the video, was absolutely incredible.
Good, wasn't it, Chaz?
Just good. It was good, wasn't it, Chaz?
It was great.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it very much. Yeah.
It really was incredible, and it is brilliant to be able to make a video of that enormity in this day and age. You know what? I'll talk to you about this. And that enormous, because people don't really make videos like that. Well, I mean, if you're a huge band, you can, but that culture of really over the top videos, especially for a band, we were unsigned at that time to do that and do it on our own was really incredible. And we've got to thank Adam for that, because he managed to make it look that incredible.
Yeah, and it was such a match the lyrics with the music video. I mean, it's just like it's a perfect transition into both.
Wow, thank you. I wrote that one. Yeah, no, it's really.
It's made the song come alive even more, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah,
it's taken it to another level.
It has. So I think we got the. It's funny because you're going to go and do this, and you haven't got very long to do it. So I think there was some talk of what should we film 2 when we're there, but then you realise there's no way on earth you've got the time to film 2 songs.
Yeah.
We were there for 3 days, which sounds like a lot of time in the telling, but it really isn't. And sometimes it's raining, and you've got to be a bit careful about what you do with storms coming in and stuff. But I think we were lucky. I think we got the right song.
Yeah.
So with that song in particular, was that one of the songs that was written ahead of time before the album, or was that one when you started getting into the songwriting that you started writing that one?
It actually appeared on our first album.
It's on both albums, that song, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my apologies. Yeah, that's right. And yeah.
No, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
We shot the video in between albums, so we hadn't written the rest of the second album, had we? So it was a case of teaming up with Thoth, who owned the satellite, and they offered us to come and film a video there, and we thought that song would be perfect. So when it came to actually writing the second album, we reworked the song, remixed it, and we had Chaz playing on this version. So it does sound quite different, doesn't it?
It does sound quite different. Chaz is on bass on this one. Chaz wasn't on the first album, unfortunately. But so we re-recorded the bass part. Obviously, we replaced the keyboard solo with a guitar solo. Which doesn't sound like a big deal, but Adam then remixed it quite dramatically. So even the drums sound really quite different. So the Elliot Ware, who played keyboards on it, described it as a more transparent mix, which I thought was quite an interesting way to put it. So the track, it's the same song with the same structure, but it does actually sound quite different in terms of the production of it. So so that was what we did. But yeah, this is true. We knew we were going to go and do the video when we weren't even certain we were going to do a second album. So, and it seemed lyrically like the right song that we should do, and what have you. So then it seemed like, well, why would you then not put it on the second album? So we're now going to talk about this collaboration with a space company, this amazing video. Oh, but it's actually on our previous album. It's not on this. That didn't really make sense. So it seemed we should do some work, change it a little bit, and then put it onto this new album. And as I said before, because our albums are quite long anyway, it's not like people are being shortchanged with material, there's still 45, 48 minutes of new material on there as well, and it sits really well with the new material, that song, I think. So it's that was the reason we chose that song, and that's why we put it on the second album as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what threw me off with my words, is because it does fit so well with the new album. I mean, it sits right in the middle of the album. It everything before it and after just feels so natural to go along with it in the track listing. And, being able to have like the new bass a part of it, the new production of it, I mean, it really does feel like a new song.
Brilliant, thank you. I haven't gone back and listened to the old one. Maybe we'll hear the old one and go,
every time I hear it, I'm surprised at how much better it does.
It is. It's much more drivey. We turn things like guitars up a bit, and the drums are more driving or something. Adam's done a really good job reappraising effectively the same parts.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, with all of this, and of course, in a couple weeks with the album finally coming out, next week you guys are actually going to be doing a cool little UK tour. I mean, that's an awesome timing to be able to promote the album that way.
Yeah.
All tours in the UK are little. But yes, this is going to be one of the biggest little tours that's been done in the UK. We start next Thursday, and I'm conscious of the fact that the UK is smaller than some American states, but we're actually travelling around quite a bit of the UK actually. So we're in the southeast. We're not in London, but we're speaking to you now from about 20 miles outside London, I suppose. We're kind of equidistant between London and Oxford, and we're going up to the Midlands first, then we go all the way up to Scotland to a place called Bathgate, which is near Edinburgh, and then back down to the northwest of England, back down, and then we come back down and play in London. And there's a town called High Wycombe, which is our nearest main town actually, which is like our home gig. And the London gig happens to fall on the release date of the album, so that's quite cool.
Yeah.
But it's just been a weird thing because SPV came to the table late in the sense that we'd already booked a tour. They then obviously had to remanufacture stock and promote the album and all the rest of it, and that meant that we couldn't release it until May the 25th, by which point the tour was already booked, starting on the 17th, I think it is. We're going to go do the tour next week. We're going to play all of the album except for one song, I think, and that's going to be great to get out and play those tunes. It's going to be really, really cool. Really looking forward to it.
And it's great to see that the album is going to be getting that much live promotion as well, especially with playing almost the entire album. I mean, it's great to see that you guys have much passion behind that album to be able to show it off that way.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the dates we do before the album's released and the dates after, when people sort of have a chance to get used to the tracks and maybe be a bit more familiar with them, to see how the difference is. It'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there are 3 of the songs on the new album that we were playing live anyway.
That's true.
There's Take the Pain, which is the opening song we were playing live, although we've been playing that live for a while. And I suppose people on gigs wouldn't really know it because we hadn't recorded it, of course, at that point. And Far Away Boy is a song that we'd also been playing live before, and
All This Time
we played live as well. Not as much as the other 2, but we have played it a couple of times. So we knew those songs worked pretty well live. The first 2 I mentioned were probably the more rocky songs on the album anyway, I think, aren't they? So those were always really good live songs. And funnily enough, we'll Take the Pain actually, which is there are no keyboard parts in that song at all. It's the only... No, that's not true. Well, there aren't any keyboard parts, but what do you think about that as the only other song that has no keyboards on it? But Take the Pain was the most difficult one to record. It was the one when we were mixing it, we were like, this doesn't sound how we've got it in our heads. It doesn't sound how it is on the gig. And then in the end, we got it, and it was like, yeah, this is great now. But it was interestingly a song that probably feels one of the more simple songs was weirdly the hardest one, I think, to get sounding exactly how we wanted it. But we played those 3 songs live before anyway, and We Can Fly we played live before.
Oh yeah, of course we played.
So so they'll know some of the stuff, I guess, but yeah, a lot of it's going to be new, so it'll be interesting to see how that does.
And after that, I mean, of course, with all the UK touring and other appearances after the release of the album, what do you got in store for the rest of 2018?
Oh, hopefully a bit more touring. Hopefully, do we think?
Yeah, we want to do more. This particular particular tour was booked by us because, again, we were a band doing everything on our own. We still self-manage, but also we were booking our own gigs, we were releasing our own records, designing all the artwork, everything. And then SPV have come on board, and that's really, really helped. That's massively helped. But our relationship with them is very new. We only signed the deal a couple of days before the end of February. So now we've got a bit more support. Then we want to go out and do more gigs. We want to do festivals. We're desperately keen to play in other countries.
Yeah.
So we've done a couple of gigs in Germany, actually. We went over and did a couple of gigs a couple of years ago. But we're really, really keen. And to get to the States would be the main one, but also to play in Japan or anywhere in Europe and just get out and play as much as we can. In addition to that, our deal with SPV means that we make a third album though, so we'll then get into some writing and recording as well. So later on here we just want to do more gigs, promote this album obviously, and then get on to making the third album.
Yeah, and that sounds like a magnificent plan, and I really hope that all of that does come to fruition. I'm very excited to see what's going to be happening when more people are able to check out the album in a couple weeks when that gets released, and of course all the being able to hear that in the live experience. And I really do hope that you guys are able to tour as many countries as possible. I mean, with this style of music, I really think it could translate into so many different ways, whether it be it here in the States, over in Japan, across Europe, whatever the case is. I think this could really hit home for a lot of people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we desperately.
And it's nice because we have reached people in all these different countries, and they keep saying to us, when are you coming to the States, or when are you coming to Japan, or when are you and it's so lovely to...
I mean, the fact we're even having this conversation with you now, when you start off and you kind of go, the world is so small now in the sense that we can, have this kind of chat on Skype and all the rest of it, but actually, the reality that you chat to somebody in America about your music that you've made, that you now kind of know and you've heard it and everything, is kind of amazing. Sometimes you think, that's really incredible. When somebody, it's really thrilling even when, one person buys a CD off your website at a certain point, you go, wow, this is somebody in, Japan or Argentina or somewhere, and you go, that's incredible. That's really amazing. So that was, a little song that we wrote in our house type of thing. Somebody's bought in some other far-flung country we've been to the States, but a country, individually, but as a country we've never been to. That's really remarkable. So, it's not lost on us that's really cool. And if we could get out and play in those countries, that'd be, even better.
Amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think with that, that is an absolutely great note to end on. Thank you so very much for taking the time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on with 2, which of course is just coming out 2 weeks from today. And I really enjoy the new album. I really love what you guys were able to accomplish with this album. I love the music video. I'm very excited to see live videos when those become available, when you guys start doing more shows in promotion of the new album. And I just wish you guys nothing but the best, because I really love what's going on with this album, and I want to see you guys just constantly getting bigger and better from here on out.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, not a problem. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
The only thing, I would say really, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we spoke about the video on the satellite dish, but I don't know if you're aware that we've actually collaborated with that space company. So the company on that satellite dish have actually designed and have worldwide patents for a space elevator, believe it or not, which is 20 kilometers high, and that's why we ended up shooting that video on that dish, because we've kind of collaborated with them, and they use one of our songs from our first album on their CGI animation of how their science project and their space elevator actually works, believe it or not. And that's why we got invited over there to shoot the video at their facility. That's where that all came from.
So when the first space elevator actually gets built, we've got the first gig in space.
It sounds amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you picture it like it's not really an elevator, it's more like a tower. It's a better way to describe it. But it's 20 kilometers high, and you can see the curvature of the Earth from the top of it. And they're all for, you have to come and do this. And their first gig on top of their tower. And the plan is that they put out to tender, a bit like the Olympics. So various cities around the world could bid to build this thing. And they reckon it could be built within 5 years.
Wow, that is just simply incredible.
I thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, that is just incredible. I mean, just the fact that you guys were able to collaborate on something like that, and just like really making a space elevator something that's like a tangible thing. I mean, that is just so cool.
Just because we have this name.
I know. It sounds mad, and we've actually got a couple of national TV interviews here in the UK in a couple of weeks like on Sky News and stuff, because of this collaboration with this mental space company in Canada who've designed this.
They're not mental.
They're not mental. I mean, mental in the sense of crazy thinking, you know, because they've got this crazy idea, but they think they can actually make it work.
Yeah.
You know, they're very brainy people. So, yeah, there we go. Amazing, really.